Hello, everybody. I am Brother Luke. Welcome to this Wednesday Bible study for the Church of the Eternally Secure, C.E.S. Well, we are studying the book of Revelation, and tonight we begin chapter 18. I'm expecting Renee, so let me say hello to everybody. And when she gets here, we can start the study. Looks like Sister Dolores is the first one to say hi. Hope things are going well, okay for you, Dolores. You're dealing with an awful lot. Keep praying for Dolores and her family, everybody. Brother Toph is here too. He says, good evening, saints. And Sister Celine is here. She says hello. Sister Celine has been with us for a long time. And it's been real interesting watching her kind of grow up. You're doing a great job with your life as far as your maturity and plans. 7 years you've been with us, yeah. We will be in December. It'll be 8 years for C.E.S. So yeah, you've been with us forever, and appreciate all the comments that you make on the videos. Give a lot of thought to it, and give us something to think about. Brother Tove says hi to Dolores and Celine. Yeah. Well, I do have a couple of prayer requests that we need to bring up before we start. But I was hoping, I think I'll wait for more people to check in so that I can make sure I bring those prayer needs to everybody's attention. So this is Wednesday. Last time we were together was Sunday, and I hope you had the last few days were good for you. I'm just doing real well. I'm just so happy right now that I'm made so much progress on my to-do list. I don't know about you guys, but when I put something on my list, even though it may be a little small thing that needs to get done, every time I get accomplished something, even the little things, I get a great feeling of satisfaction. And right now, I'm pretty much all caught up. I've hired some people to come over tomorrow to clean up my backyard. I was going to do it myself, but every time I go back there, I get bites all over me. I do have bites all over me because every other night I have to go out there and water certain plants. So I've got calamine lotion. Remember that old song? There was some old rock and roll song that they're having a lot of fun with and talking about calamine lotion. And Brother Sean is here. The Shadow says, hello, everyone. And here we have healing and recovery from complex trauma. All right, glad to see you here. Picture of a pretty young woman, so I assume that's if you want to let us know your name, otherwise I'll just call you Sister Healing. And all right. Okay, I guess I could bring these prayer needs to everybody's attention and ask you all to pray for these people who have asked for help. Is that how the song goes? You're going to need an ocean of calamine lotion. Is that right? And that sounds like that's part of the song. Yeah, and the Shadow knows. The Shadow is close to my age, and Brother Sean, he has a lifetime of, music, bands, making music. So I'm not surprised that you know, brother. You're going to need an ocean, calamine lotion, something like that. Yeah. I'm going to have to look up that song and listen to it again. And let me see. Leaf says he skips me every time now. Let me see. Are you talking to me, Joe? Leaf says, God bless you, brother. You think I'm skipping you? Or are you talking to me, Leaf? If I'm skipping you, it's I'm not trying to avoid you, brother. Sometimes I might make an initial greeting, and then some of the other things you say I think are kind of uh, for the congregation and within your own conversations, and I don't need to mention that every time. But if you say something I think is like directed to me, then I just certainly want to acknowledge it. So let me know, Leaf, if you think that I'm actually skipping you. If you think that, I guarantee you I'm not trying to do it. All right. Okay, let me look at these prayers. Let me share this real quick here. Share screen. Okay, so right now you can see a couple of prayer requests. One came from Bob IO5KY. And Bob says, asking for prayer for my beloved ones that may not be saved to be saved, and for healing for one of my relatives that is unwell. So, I don't recognize the name of Bob IO5K, but let's everybody please pray that the Lord hears this prayer need of Bob and helps Bob and his loved ones. Okay. And then we also have a follow-up from Philip Anderson. We were asking for prayer that Philip Anderson could take this new medication that he wants to try to see if it'll help him. But he's worried about possible side effects. So we were praying for that. And now Philip says, need an emergency prayer request. I've got the medication for my OCD, but can't start until tomorrow. And we just received this from him today. So this is talking about tomorrow. My OCD has gotten extremely severe, and I don't know how I'm going to make it through today. My OCD is already sending me obsessions to not take the medication. It's attacking every part of my life. I feel as though Christ was never in my life. That's Philip Anderson, Brother Philip. That's a very difficult thing to have to deal with, that kind of OCD. Oh, Sister Renee's here now. Let me bring her on with us. There she is.
Yeah, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I had to rearrange some stuff in here because, as you can see, I'm working still on the walls. So I'm going to go off camera just for a sec, but I wanted you to know I was here. And I heard in my spirit really, really strong today. You guys got to remind me to look this direction because my camera is here and my instinct is to look at the screen. But the camera's here. So I can read the book because I got the book here.
Right.
So I'm looking at the screen to talk to you, like this.
Ah.
You see my face. So
we got a frontal and a profile of you, so that's nice.
So you have both?
Huh?
Do you have both?
Well, yeah, when you turn your head.
I see what you're
doing. I have a profile,
yeah.
Now I have a front view.
Right. So let me know when I'm doing this because I should be talking to the camera.
Okay, I will. Okay.
But I'm going to turn it off for just a minute. But I heard God, I guess it was God, forgive me, Lord, if I'm wrong. But I got a revelation about that today as well. But I heard Thursday is the day you need to write. That is writing day. Because I kept saying I have the OCD book especially for Christians, the ones that I've helped get through it. But I don't have that kind of time because I have to work and do side hustles to try to support this ministry. So I'm going to sit down tomorrow and try to bang it out and just get that little booklet together because a lot of people need it. And that's where my heart's being tugged to do a lot in that direction.
You're not talking to the camera.
Right. Can you hear me though?
Yeah.
I'm having to hold this. So I'm going to go off camera, fix this so I don't feel I have to be in the holding the microphone like that.
All right. Okay,
all right.
fine.
Thanks.
Yeah. I still don't want to get to the bottom of this. Leaf says he skips me every time. I want to make sure that
Leaf takes stuff personal
if you're talking to me, Leaf, I want you to know. Please acknowledge this. Let me know if that was a reference to me. If you think I'm skipping you, let me know. Okay. I apologize if you got that impression. I'm not doing it on purpose. Now we have this healing and recovery from complex trauma. This is actually Sister Mental. She says, guys, it's mental health matters. I changed my name. Okay. All right. So let me see. We'll just call you healing now. Okay. That sounds better than calling you mental. And now we just call you healing. That's good. I like that. All right. So Lisa, you're not going to, I'm appealing to you, brother. Let me know if that comment was meant for me. Okay, please. All right. So please pray for Philip Anderson and Bob. Other than that, I don't see any prayer requests in the chat room. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Leaf. Okay. So you were talking to me. So you're telling everybody that you think that I'm skipping you every time. So you're hurt, apparently, and you think it's happening. I don't acknowledge every comment that people make. If you want me to acknowledge it, you know what you got to do. Put it in all caps, and I'll acknowledge every time I see something in all caps. I'm going to make an effort to acknowledge that. But if it's not in all caps, I'm not going to acknowledge it because I don't even read a lot of them that are not in all caps. Okay. All right. Let me see. All right.
I'm having a hard time getting the arm to stay on to this kind of table. So give me just a sec.
Yeah. Renee, this is what I have here. I don't know why you're using an arm. I just have a platform like this for my microphone. See the platform I have? This just sits on my desk.
The mic I have has to come on an arm because it's got back pieces for effects and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, get your Bibles out, everybody. We're going to go to Revelation chapter 18, and we're using Steve Gregg's book. It's actually a commentary on Revelation from four different perspectives. And we've gone through the historicist, the idealist, the preterist, and the futurist for a lot of these studies. But now we're just focusing on the two that are more prominent today, and that's the futurist and the preterist. So we'll just stick with those two because the historicist interpretation is hardly anybody believes that today. It was the main interpretation during the Reformation. During the Reformation, they didn't call it the historicist; they called it the Protestant viewpoint. But now you don't find it hard, any churches really that I know of that as a church they are historicists, except for the Seventh-day Adventists. So we're not going to deal with that, the historicist or the idealist anymore, because the idealist is really very redundant. You can basically just read Revelation with this thought in mind. This is just a story to illustrate that there's a struggle between good and evil that is cyclical, that goes over and over and over again through all the church period. That's really the way you can sum up the idealist. But the futurist viewpoint, that's the one that we've all been taught through, the Left Behind movies and books and all the Bible teachers of the last 100 years in America have been teaching dispensational futurism. So that's what we're familiar with. But Renee and I left that viewpoint the last couple of years as we studied other viewpoints. We've moved over to the preterist viewpoint, which is that the viewpoint that most of the book of Revelation is talking about the Jerusalem war that happened between 66 and 70 AD. And then when we get near the end of the book, chapters 21 and 22, that is future to us. That's future. So we're part futurist and part preterist, but everybody's really part futurist and part preterist. It's just how much of it is past and how much of it is future is what we don't necessarily agree on. All right, so we'll be comparing tonight the futurist and the preterist viewpoint on chapter 18. And let me see. I'm just waiting for Renee. Once she gets her set up ready, then we'll open the book.
I messed up. I posted the link to StreamYard instead of to the YouTube. So I got to go and get the YouTube to put on my page so my people know we're here.
All right. Okay. Other than that, I'll tell Brother Sean, since we had this conversation on the phone, and if you're still listening, I did research the medications, and there are actually 3 of my medications that do have the possible side effect of memory issues. So I'm going to talk to my doctors and see if there's some alternative that doesn't have that. But I'm taking all the medications I'm taking because I need them. These are either heart medications or nerve damage, what's called neuropathy. So basically, there's some for my heart, some for my neuropathy, and then some for just psychological depression. And all right. So you're up to speed now, Sean, on that. Thanks for recommending that to me. Renee, you look like you're about ready.
Just about. Looks like it.
You know about my rule about pink, don't you?
What? That all women should wear pink?
Yeah. I would make a law. I think we should have a national law that all women must always wear pink.
That's really funny though, because I told you there was a guy that came out. There was a group in the 70s that taught like mind control and all this emotional attachment and working out all your trauma and stuff. And they had something called the Family of Women and the Family of Men. And this guy got paid like $1,000 for 3 nights for him to like torture you and sleep deprive you and turn you into like this. I don't know. It's just some stupid spiritual experience that people with too much money do. But I'll never forget it. He had this thing where he said, for this weekend now, Brother Luke, all the women every day of the weekend had to wear pink on the top. They had to wear a skirt of a denim or something dark, a pink top, some kind of pearls.
Yeah, and I like that. Both of them are very pink and pearl.
Yeah, that was part of it.
Very
first of all, they say that they took a poll and men respond to women in pink. They respond to women in red with lust more, but they respond to women in pink with interest.
Wow, that's interesting because I didn't know that was more universal. I thought maybe it was just my own mind. That's good.
I thought you might think that was neat.
Yeah. So Renee, would you like to read those verses 1 through 3, chapter 18?
Yeah, I can't tell if I'm framed because I'm trying to get in the frame. Can you see me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So, oh goodness, without my specs, this is gonna be fun. All right, where are we? Page 480.
482.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Are you reading the verses?
You want me to read it? You want me to
'Cause
read it?
I don't have the verses here. I'd have to pull them up online.
All right. Well, I can read it from the
I don't
book.
like non-King James.
If you want me to read the KJV, give me a second here. Let me see
Yeah.
here. Let me find that real quick.
Or I mean, I can read. I can do it. I just got to pull it. It's not a problem. It's right here. I just
All right. Let's see who gets it first. So let me see.
If you want me to read it.
Oops, 18. Okay, so here it is. I've got it. I'm ready to go. You ready?
You go right ahead. Go ahead.
I need to share the screen.
2 through 3. Okay.
Okay, chapter 18, verses 1 through 3 says, "And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies."
Yeah, the same language is used by Isaiah and Jeremiah about the Babylonian captivity. And so the Jews knew exactly what these words meant. He was calling them Babylon, that they had brought Babylon with them and turned, because people don't realize that Herod's temple was larger than the original, and it was the biggest building in the world. I mean, in the world, Herod's building was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was twice as tall as the Muslim building is right now. And it was not just one little building. It took up an entire like New York City block. That little tower did.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing, the stuff that they can find, and you can tie this to Jerusalem so clear. You can see the ancient Babylon having this golden shine to it. You know, they used to talk about how Egypt and Babylon would polish the stone of these ziggurat places to worship their gods, and it would look magical from far away, like the Wizard of Oz, right? The sparkly side of the pyramid, like looked like polished marble, like divine, because it was. And so in their heads, they would have seen that with the hanging gardens,
frozen?
Babylon, and all of its splendor, they would have seen that, but they would have seen Jerusalem as the same. What happened to you? I can't. Hold on. Oh, shit, for a second. Do what? Huh? They would have seen the same, but I can see that language there. Can you see it? You know?
Hey, Renee, there's a message for you from the shadow on the screen. Can you read it?
Oh, hold on 1 second. Is it in comments?
No, on the screen.
Oh, hold on. Oh, no, I can't wear those for reading. You are so funny. I have done that before, though. No, these are for driving. I have cataracts, so I have to wear these for long distance. Like I can't see far away either. Welcome to getting old. No, I had great. I had my vision corrected in the 90s, and then I started losing my vision at night, and I didn't know what was going on. But I was getting cataracts, and the stigmatisms are starting to come back or something, because I'm not seeing well close up at all or far away now. So I have two separate pair of glasses, but I do have one or two pair that have both far away and nearsighted, but now to get both prescriptions in one pair is really hard. So it's a lot of money right now. So I have to get separate glasses, one in each. It makes more sense for me. But if I need to see far away, it'll help. And I'm looking this direction because I'm trying to see if I can read. I can actually. I can read the screen. So if I need to read the screen, I'm good. If I need to read the book, not so much. I can see the book better without them. But thank you for telling me on my head. Very good. I've done it. I absolutely have done that. It's hilarious. I was thinking my other glasses are up here somewhere because I always leave them up here because this is where I read. So let me stand up here because the cats keep jumping up and knocking stuff. I'm trying to keep them out of the studio I want to keep them out of here all the time, but they got a play area behind me, so I can't do it. But I want to get it stable. Hold on. I'm going to see if I got them so I can see. Yep, they're back here. Cats have popped them around when they were playing with my stuff.
Hey,
there we go. See? Okay, now I'll be able to see. Okay.
All right, so we're just going to look at the preterist and the futurist viewpoint. So which one would you like to read?
Doesn't matter to me. I can read. What is the first one? Hold on. I lost my page. Here it goes. 482. Preterist is fine since I'm already talking about that anyway.
Okay.
All right. I'm trying to see, is it better over here? Can you see me better over here? I'm trying to see. I can't look at the screen and me. So.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Right. Okay. Right. Like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
I got my hello in the back. I should probably turn the light out. Might see better without it. I'll have to see. I'll check. Okay. So what I was saying is, because it's relevant to this, I could see the ancients totally seeing this. They're used to seeing Babylon as this golden city, right? That's utter destruction. It's ruins. And it's become a habitation of devils. I mean, it's just an abandoned place, and that's where devils are. Mm-hmm. So now, what devastating news. They should have understood. The high priests should have understood this language because it's very clear in Jeremiah and Isaiah that he spoke to Jerusalem. He spoke to Babylon this way and what was coming. And the exact same language is used for their judgment, Sodom and Gomorrah's judgment, and Egypt's judgment. In Jerusalem, that great city, and it was the only great city with the largest structure in the known world at that time. People forget. They're thinking of it like today. It's not. People did not fly back and forth on airplanes. This was the hub. It was a desert hub. And it was insane. People traveled from everywhere to this place. So they should have seen it. Jesus warned that judgment was coming. And this language is used in that letter. And they would have known exactly what was coming because he's saying to them, you are now the thing that my holy nation fought against. You have become the thing you hate. And that is what's so devastating here. And I really do believe that is what's going on because the kingdom of darkness rules that kingdom. Jesus doesn't live in that one. You know? The one with greed and corruption and not enough. So I have to take so much for myself. There is enough. There's more than enough. Our Father is, He created everything. So that's what I was trying to say before we got this, because I wanted people to have a visual idea of what goes on in my head when I hear you read those words. Because all it does is affirm that what I've been seeing these last few years is absolutely correct. That has happened in 70 AD. This has all been fulfilled. And we are victorious. And I have gotten, what are we doing? We are the light of the world. We better get busy and walk around in victory and start fighting the good fight. because we're not prepared. And I really think that we need to stop with this weird teaching that's going on. Like I don't know. In any case, people are hurting and suffering. And I think part of it is because of an interpretation of this having a doomsday idea, Brother Luke. I'm sorry, I do. I can't tell you how many Christians tell me, well, I can't wait till he just comes and takes us out of here any day now. Yeah, but wait a minute. We're the body of Christ. So there's no light on earth if we're not here. And if we're not doing it, who will? We're his body, physical body. That means we do the stuff physically in his name because he's not physically here, only in here. And okay, so anyway, that's the thing. So when you hear us read the scriptures, consider that and see if it clicks, Think from that perspective as if it were true. You don't have to believe it. You can believe whatever you're convinced is true. Whatever you believe, that's fine. That's not a big deal. But I think it's interesting that we keep our eyes open and our minds open, that we could be wrong. Even like that's why I'm like not saying, oh, I'm absolutely here on this or there on that every time, because I've got to stay open to me being completely wrong about everything. But I wanted to do that because I think it's interesting when you can literally get the visuals that's going on in someone else's head when you're reading the verses, so that they can understand why you're following it that way, why you're so convinced it means what we believe it means. That's all. That's what I mean. So, is the preterist view, the fall of Babylon, verse 2, according to how one has dealt with the previous relevant passages, is either the fall of Rome in year 476, that's Luis de Alcazar, David Clark, J. Adams, and Moses Stewart, or the destruction of the Jewish polity and religion at the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. Chilton, Russell, Terry, et al. For the defense of their respective positions, see commentary. So it just lists, the commentary lists who has what position, which teacher, which author. And just because somebody's wrong, like on eschatology, doesn't mean they're not brilliant at something else. Because how many parts does the body have? That's why I'm like, I think it's good, Brother Luke. We have specialties. Some people do. And I think that's how God's word works. And as we go, we can master all of the areas as we grow, right? So we shouldn't be chopping people down in their area. Let them get good at their area. We're so controlling us, I swear. Okay. The fact that Babylon has become a habitation of every foul spirit and every unclean and hateful bird. I wanted to do a video on that this week, but I didn't have the time to do the graphics I wanted. I may still do it. Is known to be true of Jerusalem and Israel in general, which was first overrun by demons around the time Christ was due to be born. It is notable that despite the infrequency of the mention of, quote, evil spirits in the Old Testament, such spirits seem to come out in force to oppose Jesus during his ministry. I would say that's true, Brother Luke. You don't hear too much about them in the Old Testament, but they are there.
Yeah.
But they sure got stirred up when the Lord came, didn't they? Yeah, they weren't lazy then, were they? Wow. I had never thought of that before, brother. That
never dawned on me before either.
That is just an amazing thing. So y'all make a note of that if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
It is notable. There you go. See, it's notable that despite the infrequency of the mention of evil spirits in the Old Testament, that spirits seem to come out in force to oppose Jesus during his ministry. It is though the demons, in anticipation of Christ's coming, had invaded the land of Israel. And I hadn't thought of that. I was like, how can so many of God's people be crippled and in famines and broken? And they really suffered, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to impede his mission. Of course, they were no match for him. and his ministry to Israel could be characterized as the liberation of a, quote, man, unquote, from demonic bondage, an image Jesus used with reference to his own generation in Matthew. Yeah, that man, unquote, is Israel. It's Israel's rejection of Christ. I have been saying that. Okay, I ain't saying nothing else. I'm going to stop right now if I get mad. All right. Israel's rejection of Christ caused an event greater number of demons to return to afflict him, as Jesus predicted. Now, that would make perfect sense, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It sure would. Why was that woman with the issue like that 12 years opened all these people? And he had to go and heal so many people. In every village, there was blind, crippled, possessed, had the palsy. I mean, this is in every village he went to.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it was like that with the pagans, too.
I'm
sure it was, because then they would get worshipped. One deity would get worshipped for getting rid of the other one, and oh, that crazy mess. Oh, that's just something to think about. Okay. And so when he warns that the number of demons that come out, because I mean, it's true, whether it's a man or a place, it's going to be the same thing, because they have the same MO, because they have the same character and the same will, and they are the opposite of God. So because they have no part in him, there is no goodness. They're all darkness, and when darkness swallows you up, there's nothing good. That's why I'm like, people just get real religious, because if you can look past the veil, you can really see the good through it. But okay, however, the merchants of the earth have become rich. This is what I wanted to look at, Brother Luke. Can we take a note here?
I don't know where you're reading right now. Last you said was
hold on one second. I'm trying to grab a pen so I don't. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Goodness. Sorry, I'm kind of spazzed out, stressed out this week.
It says, as a consequence is where I was expecting you to pick up, but
where did I skip? Where am I?
You skipped something.
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. Okay. Yes. As a consequence of this surrender to demonic forces, Jerusalem also was reduced to the ground level, again as Christ predicted in Matthew 24, allowing the region to become the haunt of the desert creatures considered unclean in the Jews' religion. No such literal fulfillment of these words has been demonstrated with regard to Rome. The statement, however, that the merchants of the earth, that's the part, of the earth had become rich through the abundance of her luxury, seems to fit Rome better than Jerusalem, but certainly Rome would naturally be said to have had a major impact upon the world's economy in Jerusalem. On the other hand, Jerusalem was charged with committing fornication with the kings of the earth, and that is an Old Testament accusation against Israel as well in Ezekiel. So the prophet used this imagery to explain God's reason for bringing judgment upon Jerusalem by the hands of the Babylonians in 586 BC. It would seem appropriate that the New Testament apostle prophet would employ the same language in describing a near identical event, the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it being Jerusalem, because Rome's seems to more like fit that one description more. I'm like, the one line out of all the, so what? It also vaguely fits both of them. So that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Does it bother you?
Yeah, no, I agree. At the point where you said no such literal fulfillment of these words has been demonstrated with regard to Rome. Yeah, so it seems to me basically it all fits with Jerusalem,
Right.
more so than Rome.
Right.
Even though there are some theologians who believe now we reached a point where it's left Jerusalem war, and now it's talking about the fall of Rome. But I'm not convinced that's correct.
I'm not either.
We're still talking about Jerusalem.
Yep, I'm not either.
Now
I said I would keep my mind open to it, but so far I haven't heard anything that pulls me to that side that is talking, it switches at some point. I think this whole thing is a letter to God's people, and he's not going to just switch up.
Yeah.
I think he's warning them about this, but it's not that way. I think because I think they're doing that, Brother Luke, because they need God to warn Rome to affirm that Rome is also a city of his. That's why they need to put Rome here. Do you understand? I think they really want to put Rome in here. A lot of the Catholics needed that in there, the early, to keep the church together. Mm-hmm. I think that might be the same like agenda. I don't think it's evil that they're trying to do that. I don't know.
Okay. Before I read the futurist viewpoint, let's go to this question from Leaf. He says, does Babylon still run the world? I saw documentaries explaining this is why everything's owned by a corporation. I think that the word Babylon not only means the original city of Babylon,
yes,
but it talks about a power structure. Basically, Babylon, we could also say the word beast. It's the
system of the world.
It's the world system, the economic and governments of the world.
Of mankind.
What we can think of as Babylon and the beast.
And they're not necessarily all evil and sinister. They're just a beast, a strong, powerful thing that goes around and taking and devouring and controlling. That it's man's way. It's different than God's way.
Yeah,
who loves and offers and allows you to have bad consequences that see, I told you till you come back.
Yeah, that was a very good point, Renee. Let me see if there's any other questions before we. Okay, everybody, please. We'd like to get your thoughts on this. You heard Renee read the preterist viewpoint. We stated that we are in agreement with it, but how about you? What do you think? Can you give us your thoughts on those verses and how we should understand it? I'm going to read now the futurist viewpoint on these three verses.
Okay.
And this is something that the viewpoint that we've all were taught about in America during our lifetime. For the last 100 years, pretty much all the seminaries and pastors in America have been teaching this viewpoint. So that's why we've all been kind of ingrained or even indoctrinated with this viewpoint. But now I've come to the conclusion that it's wrong, and that's why I converted to the preterist. Okay, here's the futurist interpretation. Opinions differ as to whether the angel coming down from heaven in verse 1 is the Lord himself or simply an important created being. More important, probably, is the content of his announcement. Before I leave that, go on, I want to just say that I thought also as I was reading the verse, it might be referring to the Lord, but it's referring to him as an angel. Does that mean that he's not God, but
no, it just means he's a messenger. Does it mean I'm not human if I'm an angel? Because Paul was an angel. He's not human either.
Right.
Messenger.
Right. So sometimes we need to think of the word angel and understand that it's talking about one with a message.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So more important probably is the content of his announcement. Babylon the Great is fallen. The repetition of the phrase is fallen is thought by C.E.S to suggest, quote, two separate parts or stages of the fall, answering to the two aspects in which Babylon is contemplated, referring first to Babylon in mystery as a system or spirit of false worship, and second, to Babylon as a city in which this system or spirit is finally embodied, unquote. Okay, I didn't ever think that by repeating it, that meant that it was, there's two different aspects to it, but that was interesting. The idea that Mystery Babylon in chapter 17 is not identical to the commercial entity called Babylon in this chapter is not uncommon among futurist expositors. Those who draw a distinction, however, are not unanimous as to the precise nature of the difference. Ryrie writes, quote, "The emphasis in chapter 17 is on the religious and political aspects of Babylon, and in 18 on the commercial aspect. Babylon is both a city and a system. In addition, there is another difference between these two chapters. In chapter 17, it was the beast and his allies who destroyed the harlot Babylon. Here, it is God who destroys this aspect of Babylon." Walvoord follows a similar reasoning. Quote, "After the disposal of Babylon in its religious form by its destruction at the hands of the beast, the prophetic revelation in chapter 18 then deals with Babylon as a political force, also destined for destruction at a later date," unquote. Walvoord gives two reasons for distinguishing between the Babylon in chapter 17 and that in this chapter. First, there is mourning mentioned in connection with the Babylon in this chapter, whereas none seems to be associated with the fall of Babylon in chapter 17. The second reason is, quote, "The destruction of Babylon in chapter 18 should be compared with the preceding announcement in chapter 16, verse 19, where the great city is divided and the cities of the Gentiles fall. This event comes late in the Great Tribulation, just prior to the second coming of Christ, in contrast to the destruction of the harlot of chapter 17, which seems to precede the Great Tribulation," unquote. That's it.
I was just rereading what you were reading, that last part, because I'm still in my head, I'm trying to figure this out, how this is supposed to work. How are you supposed to see the destruction of Babylon chapter should be compared with the preceding announcement where the great cities divided cities of the Gentiles? There are no more Gentiles. There's the church, and then there's not. I mean, there is no more Jew or Greek, bond or free. There is no more such thing as until the time of the Gentiles is up. There's no okay.
Well, what stands out to me as I'm reading that, it just seems that every time I read the futurist interpretation, it seemed very convoluted.
It is. You can't. I mean, it all fits if you show them the clues. You go, "Oh, go to Daniel. Look at this. See how it fits. Ah, perfect." Yeah, but that's not what it says.
Yeah.
Those verses are not applying to this.
Yeah. I think that the audience that got the letter in the first place, the seven churches, as they read it, they were thinking that this is, first of all, because John said in the very beginning, "Hey, I'm warning you, things are just about to happen. So if you read this, this is the warning. Get ready. It's about to happen to you."
Yep. And so bring it to memory all the warnings. Don't even go down and get your coat, because he's reminding them that Jesus also warned at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So
if it is intended for the original audience and it's a warning about something that's imminent, and these people needed to understand the message, it should be not all convoluted where you have to be some kind of a genius to find a piece here and a piece there and make it all fit.
It should have been openly known what these symbols meant.
Yes.
Through the understood, what rabbis would have taught, like locally, and in that they would have known what these symbols mean, because the prophets were given direct messages to them and they knew. So there's no doubt. So I just think it's weird. We're going to take, go back and you look, you can see all God is doing is saying people that think that it's about this bloodline or genetics or what, you got it all wrong. They've got it to no, I'm not choosing people for that. There was a chosen nation because for the Savior to be verified, but they were the holy nation set apart first. But he came for all nations of men. They were the first, not the only. The holy nation, because they were the first one, and they were honored to have the God of the universe and beyond incarnate through their line.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It has nothing to do with salvation and all this other stuff.
Now, Renee, Celine asks, is fornication meaning spiritual? But before you answer it, I want to ask Celine. Celine, please, you've been with it for 7 years now. I just want to remind you, put your questions in all caps, please.
Oh, yeah, because we would have went right past it.
Yeah, you're just very lucky to notice the question, because I miss it if it's not in all caps. So, but what do you think, Renee? When it's talking about fornication, does it mean physical, actual fornicating sexually with someone, or is this talking about something spiritual?
Well, we have to look at what he's saying so we can be consistent. That's the other problem with futurism, because they are not consistent with their symbols. Are they literal? Are they personified? Are they symbolic? What are they? Right? Because you can't go back and forth, and that's a problem. It's convoluted in that way. But if it starts out one thing, it's going to remain that thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me see. There was something else I wanted to respond. Oh, here from Centurion. Centurion, again, I'm going to ask you. You're kind of new here. You've been with us for a month or two now, but if you want to make a comment that you want us to bring into our conversation,
I can't even see comments right now.
Put in all caps for me, please. That way you'll get my attention. But this is a good point. Centurion says, I think it's Catholic Church is the harlot. Well, here's the problem with that. This letter was written, I believe, before 70 AD. And even if it was written in 95 AD, the way the futurists think, this is long before there was such a thing as the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church really wasn't really established until about the 6th century officially.
They're saying it's speaking of a future prophecy about them.
Yeah, right. So see, because you think it's about the Roman Catholic Church, well, that would have to be some kind of futurist viewpoint, thinking that that's the problem. Is that I do agree the Roman Catholic Church is very problematic, and it is a false
Antichrist, Antichrist religion.
It is an Antichrist religion in certain ways, but it's we think that couldn't be the Catholic Church because the letter was written to the people living at that time about something that was just about to happen to them.
Yep. That was it. That was the point.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Jay says, Luke, I was just thinking the same thing about the futurist version, oftentimes seeming convoluted. That version seems very creative. LOL.
Well, it is. It's private interpretation. They're thinking up things and they're making them fit. I've seen them fit every president from everything, and then every emperor, every prince that was going to inherit the throne of England. Every one of them Antichrist, and every one of them. Everybody wants to be the Antichrist or not the Antichrist. They've all used it for their political gain. This lie has just spun the world. and I am just little old me. I'm not going to go out there and fight against it, because if you tell somebody they've been told the version of what that rapture verse means is not true, the way they've been told what it actually means, and if they look there without that in their head, they'll see it, but they can't, because they've been had it. And it was hard for me to see it. I knew it was off. I couldn't see why until I could see. So, and this is why I think it's important we discuss this, because I feel very concerned. I feel that we are being called to go through difficult times right now, because we need to be strengthened. Because whenever things get dark, then God's power shows up too. But he needs people that will step up and do the difficult thing as witnesses. And we need to be able to come together and disciple each other to do these things. And we're not, because everybody just wants to, well, they're just going to snatch me out of here. We're the body of Christ. Occupy till I come. Preach the gospel to every creature. Feed the poor. Heal the sick. Go visit those in prison. What are we doing? Run around trying to get bigger stuff along with the rest of the world. I want more stuff. A better car with more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Yeah. Dolores says, God is not the author of confusion. I think going along with what Jay said about, and I said about it being convoluted, it's very confusing, the futurist viewpoint, and that's why it's necessary for them to have all these complicated charts to try to show you everything.
That's not God's way.
Yeah,
that is not God's way. Not for something this important.
Yeah.
I
don't need any chart to tell you that, okay, this is what was going to happen. After Jesus ascended and the church got started, he prophesied that Israel, the temple, Jerusalem and the temple would be destroyed to end Judaism, okay? And that happened, okay? And then we have the church growing, spreading all around the world until the Lord returns.
And we should rule and reign till it gets here.
He's going, and so we are his body and serving him and having the church progress throughout his church history until on the last day he returns, and then he separates the sheep and the goats, and we get a new heaven and new earth, a judgment and eternity. It's real simple. Did I need some really complicated chart to tell you that way of understanding it? Is real simple.
No, I don't know when the second coming is, but I don't think he's in a rush to because it looks like, if you read this correctly in my mind so far, Brother Luke, it looks to me like the Lord was saying, look, you're good. You don't have to fear death. I've defeated that for you. Now, whenever you come home, it could be tomorrow. It could be in 100 years. It wants you to have long lives, but just know that you're in enemy territory, right? Do what you can for the kingdom while you're here, because this is not the way it is. It's not your home. You can't build anything here. You won't be here. They won't be here. That kingdom will not exist, because the Lord's going to take it over, and it's not going to have the same stuff. So it's like we're supposed to be growing and evolving. And and he may allow us to do that for thousands of years. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we are holding it up. But the more I look at it, there's nothing that prevents the Lord from coming, like any minute. He could come any minute, boom. And then if people understand that, we'll all be caught up, that is the rapture. It's the day of judgment. It tells you exactly when it's going to happen on that day. What day? The day of judgment, when the dead are raised and the dead in Christ return back with him. And we see him face to face. That's judgment day. That's when that rapture happens. The day of judgment. It's the second coming, judgment day. So some people think you physically die and that happens, or if you don't physically die, then that's when you're changed. That's what that means. That's the promise. is that some of you will not even die. You'll just be changed physically before the Lord returns. It's not going to be that long, but 2000, it's been over 2,000 years, and knowing him, it probably would be the third day, and we're in the third day, are we not, Brother Luke? It's the third of the thousands of years. We've had 2,000 years. We're going into the third. Is it millennium for thousands? Right?
Yeah, millennium means 1,000.
Yeah, so we're in the third millennium, the third day. So, that would make sense. Where he's a God of patterns. But
I don't know what you mean by the third day. I mean, I'm familiar with
1,000 years is a day, if you want to look at it like that, for his return.
Oh, okay. You mean the third day from his first ministry?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he went away and he's been gone 3 days.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't ever heard that one. But
I'm just thinking he's a God of patterns. So
that's very interesting. Leaf says, why did God choose Israel for the Messiah to be born?
Why not?
Yeah, the Bible doesn't really tell us, but we do know that I can tell you this. The Bible does say that at Babel, God decided to separate the people because they were up to no good. So he changed their languages and separated them. And as they were spreading around the world, he assigned various angelic beings to.
We'll show God. We'll do what we want, and he can't flood us because we'll make the tower so tall.
Yeah. But when they spread across, some countries were assigned by God. Let's say some people became known as Odin and Thor, and other people, the other nations. God assigned angels to that country, and that country was referring to them as Zeus and Hercules and so on. Mm-hmm. So all these nations that had these various gods, that was actually God assigning angels to be in charge of kind of a helper, supposed to be helping mankind.
Yeah, and then you'll see that they have the minor gods. Each nation will have they'll have all the same main gods. Like you'll have the thunder god, right? You'll have the sea god, the god of the sea. You'll have and then the planets. They're all named the main gods. And then every single nation has the same ones. But you'll go to individual nations, then you'll see weird gods they don't have over here, and that's because they're territorial elemental spirits that they worship, only their own culture. So these deities build genetically around generations of families. So that's amazing that God just randomly picked a man out of all those pagan nations.
Well, out of all these nations, they had all these various gods. They called them God. God Almighty. God did not intend for them to be considered gods.
They knew there was one God. They knew there was one creator God at the beginning. They knew that.
That's why Michael Heiser and others have taught about the Council of Gods, because God assigned all these angelic beings to various nations. But then these angelic beings, they got all puffed up because the people started worshiping. And they accepted the worship. So God says, okay, this is not working. You're not doing what I told you to do. So he says, I'm going to take a nation for myself. And he created the nation of Israel by choosing Abraham. And we're not told why he chose Abraham, but we do find out that even Abraham lost faith, and he had his wife Sarah go.
Sounds like people don't do what God says. He has to really push them.
He had a child with Hagar, Ishmael, and that wasn't part of God's plan. So they lost faith, but God did was faithful and gave them Isaac, and then Jacob, and then the whole line of people leading up to Jesus.
I don't understand why Calvinists do not understand that foreknowledge is not causation. Why is there a problem if I'm outside a video game that I am not part of, and I go and affect a part of that because I enter into it, right? Like I'm going to enter into the creation as my video game. Now I can affect stuff within it, right? But when I'm outside of it, not so much. I don't know why that is a problem for people to see that God can look at our timeline like a film reel and go, okay, yeah, I need that to happen about right there. Let me see what's going on there. Oh my goodness, what did they do? They can see he can go back and forth to any amount of time. He can go to the future, he can go to the past, he can go in and out. So him knowing, okay, well, oh, is he mine? Yep, he's mine. But he won't be till he's 35 or whatever. But he knew from the beginning through foreknowledge he'd be yours. So he protected you all through your life because you're one of his sheep. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Did he make you believe, though? I don't think so. I think he offered it to everyone. And I don't, look, I'm all for that being all nations because I see that used everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All men, absolutely. But this is not a problem for God to be sovereign, all powerful, and for love to exist, it has to be choice. So we have to be able to choose him or not. We hear the message, God knows our hearts, and we believe it. Now, does he make me believe or not believe? I'm not going to argue that. Who cares? Who cares how my mind gets it or why I believe it? I know he told us to preach it to every creature, not just people. I preach it to everything. I speak it out loud because it's victory in his name, and I believe in it. And I think we've lost who we are in Christ, and we're losing our power. We're so obsessed with, am I sinning or not? That because we're so self-absorbed. We need to get out of self, and that will heal. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. We have Eagle 775. Hey, brother. Eagle says historicism is true. Well, I've studied historicism.
Oh, sure. A lot of those line right up, buddy. That's fine. A lot of people believe historicism. I'm right with you on that. I think that lines up also. Sure. But I think that this also is very accurate. We were talking about that. There's quite a few views that also line up. We are fine with it. Like, I think a lot of the historicist stuff really does line up. However, I do think the initial letter was written to these people about Jerusalem. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. There's no way it's not. Not a doubt.
The historicist would take the first verse in Revelation chapter 1, when it says these things will shortly come to pass, or these things, the time is at hand. They take that to mean that these things will begin to take place right away.
Yeah, okay, well, you got to do that. You got to do that to make it work any other time.
Yeah. So that's the only way that the historicist or the futurist could get around the clear statement that John says these things are just about to happen. Right. I'm warning you to go in the city, and this is what's going to happen inside the city walls, of Jerusalem. So
the historians, all these views, they do line up, and that's why they convince so many, Brother Luke. But they don't show the people what doesn't line up. They never point out all the things that don't, and then they don't show you all the symbols that do line up, and all the evidence in the early evidence that does line up. They don't show you that. So what's happening is you're getting a biased argument. I think you should get, and I'll tell you, my arguments are biased. But here's the info on the other view, and please go look at it because you might be convinced, and I don't want to be responsible for lying to you.
Eagle, what we've been doing, Eagle, for more than a year now on Wednesday nights, we've been working our way through this book called Revelation 4 Views by Steve Craig. And it's a parallel commentary. On each page, it has 4 columns, and we read 3 verses in Revelation, and then we read in one column the way the historicist understands it. Another column is the way the idealist understands it, then the futurist and the preterist. So you get all 4 views basically saying, here are the various ways people understand this. You decide for yourself. And that's what we've been doing. But we stopped using the historicist viewpoint a couple months ago because we decided that it was just not popular enough to spend much time on. If you look at the history of the church, which of these viewpoints were popular when? Okay, the idea of this viewpoint has been around since the beginning of the church and is still today. But it's basically, I think it's the viewpoint for the person that says it's too complicated to try to figure out exactly the person and the event that matches everything. So instead of doing that, let's just throw up our hands and say it's just symbolic, saying that there's a cycle of struggle between good and evil in the church age. Okay, so it's a real simple way for the people who feel that they're not confident that they can pinpoint it the way the historicist would do, for example. But also from the beginning of the church, you had the preterist viewpoint, which in the beginning, it wasn't preterist. That means it's already happened. When the letter was written, it was prophecy about something that was just about to happen. But after it happened, as the church age continued on, and there was no Israel, no temple, the people realized that the revelation was past. It was about what happened in Israel and Jerusalem with the temple. Mm-hmm. That viewpoint has been around from the beginning too. Now, then you've got the historicist viewpoint that Eagle believes, and it's real interesting, but they think that they can actually accurately pinpoint historic individuals like Napoleon and Caesar and so on, and say, this one is talking about that person at this particular date and this particular battle on that country. They think that they can be that precise and identify it that precisely. But that was the popular viewpoint during the Reformation because they applied it primarily that the Catholic Church, the Pope, was what it was all about, condemning Roman Catholicism and the Pope. Okay, so it was during the Reformation period, that was the main viewpoint of the Protestants. So that's why it was called the Protestant viewpoint. But then, what about the futurist? Well, you don't find the futurist viewpoint anywhere in all of church history until around 1830, when John Nelson Darby started teaching it and brought it to America and put it in all the seminaries. And now that's why America is the main place where you'll find futurism. The rest of the world are not futurists. They're mostly, preterists or idealists. So the futurist viewpoint is really new. How did the church miss it? And why was Darby the only one, 1800 years later? John Nelson Darby, he figured it all out. But no theologians for 1800 years could understand it until Darby developed this futurist viewpoint. So those are that kind of the short history of the four viewpoints. But we don't care what viewpoint you hold. If you're a historicist or an idealist or a futurist or a preterist, it doesn't matter. We're just here to discuss it and try to figure it out together.
Okay? Yeah, we love you. We don't care what you believe. You can believe the moon's made of cheese. We don't care.
All right, so let me see if there's... Centurion says, I agree with you, Brother Luke and Sister Renee. Make treasures in heaven, not on earth.
Yes.
That's what
I don't mind nice things, and you should not feel condemned. Like, I like certain things to be really good quality made. I like enjoying nice things, elegant things, the best of things. Why not? We're children of the Most High God. There's nothing wrong with enjoying those things and better. But when other people are suffering, that is not our goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we get another time. There's a time for that.
Now, we got Autism Daniel Jr. popped in, and he said, did you know that Jesus let you into heaven?
Yeah,
you're saved. Bye.
Yep, we are.
Yeah, we know that, Daniel. And
he's joking. He's great.
Jesus is the way. Jesus is the only way that anybody's going to get into heaven. You just need to throw up your hands and say, I cannot do it through religion. I just need to embrace Jesus. And he grabs a hold of me and he never lets go. And he's my guarantee I'm going to heaven. It's all about Jesus. So autism, you're right. Why did you say bye though? I hope you're still listening.
It's a joke.
Stick around and have some fellowship with us.
Honey, you're old. That's all. It's the way
I'm
people
old?
say. Yes,
That's
you're
a joke.
old.
You're saying that's
Well,
a
it's
joke?
like it's a way people say stuff. Hold on a second. I'll show you. It's like, okay, Jesus saved us all. Okay, bye. It's like that.
All right.
It's like, did you know that Jesus already let you into heaven? Just want to let you know.
Yeah,
Okay, bye.
Eagle.
And you're out. It's like the message is done. It's like a way of saying it's finished. There's nothing else to say about it.
Eagle 775 says, listen to David Wilcox's son. I've listened to tons of his stuff.
His dad was legalistic. I love that man, though. I love that man, but he upset me about he mixed the salvation up with some of that stuff. You know.
Oh, let me pull up this for a second.
Sometimes the gospel he picks it up. I think he was just so grieved with the behaviors of the church that he maybe thought some of those people weren't really saved or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't heard his thoughts on salvation. I just heard his thoughts on historicism. But let's do this. Let's right now I'm sharing the screen showing you the Church of the Eternally Secure YouTube channel. Let's just scroll down a little bit and find featured channels. Go to the Brother Luke channel. And then
that's not
down here.
His father's not the one in New York City, is he? The Times Square preacher?
No.
Oh, that was a different one then. Never mind. I was thinking about Wilcox, the one that did the Switchblade movie. It's about the preacher
that's
in New
not
York.
it. He's someone. I'll show you who he is. And here's the playlist: 4 views on end times.
Oh, so that guy. Okay, yeah.
This is the playlist that I put together so that we have a lot of great teachers contributing to this playlist here. Let's look at it. I think I still have some of David Wilkerson's playlists, videos on this playlist down here. Let me see if I can find them.
Okay. Well, the other thing, the 144,000 thing is driving me crazy. Jehovah's Witnesses have done so much stupid stuff with it. 144,000, it doesn't mean anything. It's the first fruits. It's just a percentage of the saved. We have no idea how many of the redeemed are actually redeemed. It's only saying here's what's representing all of the redeemed at the throne of God. He can't obviously have 5 billion people standing in front of his throne at one time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So 144,000 would represent the redeemed as a whole. It's the first fruits. It's the percentage. It's a wave offering. It's a token offering to God. First fruits offering. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's all they are.
All I can say about David Wilcoxon is that I listened to a whole bunch of his videos on historicism, and I enjoyed it and learned a lot. And I put many of them on my playlist here, but the playlist got too big. And
there's some good arguments, Brother Luke, but I don't think that's what was meant.
It was too big. But David Wilcoxon, if you want to know about historicism, David Wilcoxon is the place to go. He does an excellent job of teaching historicism.
Okay. Well, that was nice. He'll enjoy that. If that's his view, he could really be interested in that playlist there. That's a good idea. See, we're not trying to convert you. If you believe something else, go. He's got playlists for you. It'll help you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I appreciate that. That was very nice, Brother Luke.
All right, let me see if there's anything else in here. I don't think we have time to read more of the scriptures and continue.
But you know what I mean? How we just don't have enough biblical knowledge, the understanding of the ancients and how things work. Because when I hear how we take private interpretation, and we have really gone cuckoo, because I'll listen to some of these young people on YouTube trying to preach. I'm like, you better get off of here. None of these people should be up here preaching. None of them. I mean, good gracious. Even if they're right on stuff, if you're a baby, let God call you and give you gift. Not every person has the same gift. You're not all called to be YouTube teachers. Some of them need other stuff. We need people at the hospital. I still do stuff at elderly places. Like I did in LA. I couldn't do the jail stuff because I have a history, and when you've been to prison, you can't. I'm a felon, so whatever. I can't do that. I can't do volunteer work in those. I do the jail. I help people in jail outside, and when they're inside, I help them out here. I try to help their families and connect them with resources to help them while they're inside and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to do in this church. We sure got a lot of stuff to do, and we are so distracted by everything. And I think it's because of the understanding of this right here. I really do with everything in me. Now that I go back, because I'm like, Brother Luke, it's not my thing to go out here and try to squash people's happy thoughts of flying away from any danger and never having to deal with this enemy territory again and being with the Lord. Everybody wants that, right? But I want to know if they don't even say that. So they have made those verses mean that, something that they've never meant in the history of the church, because it tells us the exact day these things happen. And I have to just do it on my channel. I'm going to get beat up. I'm going to get choked. Everybody's going to want to kill me with hatchets. Body parts are going to go flying.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still, their hope is not dashed because he could come any minute. Like, but that is Judgment Day. If the second, when he returns, that could be any day. The rapture is true. If you're alive when Jesus returns, you will not die. You will just be changed into your glorified body, and you'll forever be with the Lord. But it's not because we go off for 7 years and all the bad people are here and they got to face some imaginary beast person in the future, when Jesus has already defeated Satan's kingdom and he's under his feet. You're making us go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it, because he's under his feet and then he's going to be let loose, for a little while, right? Temporarily might deceive the nations a little bit. Brother Luke, there's still a couple little places that do multiple gods, right? Maybe God was allowing him a shot to convert all the nations one more time to the false gods. And that's what he's been doing his little season. And it's about over. Never know. Could be it's coming tomorrow. So I don't think we're taking anybody's idea, but it's not taking anybody's hope, but it's not the way they've been telling us. We should be walking in with our heads held high and in victory and praying against these things that are going on and walking in our power. And we can't if we're just walking around. I mean, all the demon have to do is come over and accuse you and say, you're not really saved because you do X, Y, Z, and you fall apart and your faith would die and you just take me. You know, because the guilt, we've got to be strong when we face this stuff and know it is not your righteousness. So what? You did that. Good thing Christ died for you because he didn't do it. Don't let them use that mess on you. So anyway, yeah, I want to go live after real quick so I can catch people up so I don't jibber jabber in between the studies so much and annoy y'all. So I'll go live after to catch you up on some stuff on the channel.
All right, let me say one thing as we finish up here. There's someone here, Jacob Clemens, and Jacob says, former free grace, and I want to stress, I truly believe this at one point. So under this viewpoint, am I saved even though I reject it now?
Oh yeah, of course you are, honey. What's going to happen is if you believe that you're saved by what Jesus did and not what you do, and understand, well, that's now that I have been born into God's family because I trust him, I should walk in the truth of who I am, which is not doing that garbage. This is what I don't understand. How can people say that we promote sin or something if we know I'm a child of the Most High God? I'm holding my head up high. That's not who I am. That process takes time. That's why we need to be built up in the faith. There's so much that has been skipped. All the processes of discipleship and accountability. We just let people, if they get offended, they just leave. Yeah, of course you're offended. We're telling you you're wrong and you're in sin, so you're going to leave the church instead of taking the correction and getting better. We just want to feel good all the time. That's what's happened. So I understand people want to fight against the gospel, but I'm telling you, grace teaches us to deny ungodliness and worldly lust if we let it be grace. Please let it be grace. But, you know, I don't know what is so hard about Jesus won, you guys. Anyone who trusts him for it, come freely, have it. And when you're doing stuff opposite, you're not drinking from the water of life. That's the whole point. You're drinking from death and you're getting closer to it. So go towards the thing that feeds you. Why are we doing, and I don't mean that in a religious way either. I think everybody's got this religious legalistic, well, I just won't listen to this music. And I enjoy everything. Anything good, it's of God. I mean, anything good, it's of God. See, it's just gotten perverted all down here. So we can't really tell the difference. It's just heartbreaking. But of course you're saved. If you were ever saved, you can't be unsaved. How can you be unmelded with this very spirit of Christ that's immortal? And now we put on immortality. We got to be closed in immortality. So if you are one of the sheep, you've always been a sheep, and you're always going to be a sheep because he's outside of time. And he knew whether you believe back then or you're going to believe in the future or you believe now that you're a sheep, and he knows it. So he can pop in time and in space, and he knows you're his. Foreknows what we're going to do. So yes, it is by grace. God foreknows what everybody's going to do. Why would he give someone eternal life knowing he can go in and out of time space? He said, we're in the video game. He is not, right? I'm saving this one. But then, despite knowing that tomorrow I'm going to do that, he still picked me? I mean, it's just none of that. You can't out sin the blood of Jesus. But I don't know any Christian that really understood God's grace and got saved and wanted to do that, more. Now they got tempted a little bit and they would dive in for a while. Go ahead, I'm going to sit back and get my popcorn. Come tell me about it. Oh, if you live to it. Mm-hmm. That's all. I'd say if you're a Christian, don't you know that's just another kingdom. You're not in that kingdom, but you're putting your toe into the pool and it's getting a little creepy, So I just don't understand it. It's not about religious. It's about loving people. It's about being honest and being. We can't even have a word and somebody believe it. We've got to have so many things binding because everybody's suing everybody and nobody keeps their word and everybody's a liar and it's just horrible. Mm-hmm. We got to be better.
Well, let me just say too.
Of course you're saved.
Jacob, all I say is that nobody knows if you truly believed, but I hope that you know. If you know that you actually truly believed it, then we believe that if someone gets saved, they're always saved. So you could say once they get saved, they're always saved, or if they got saved, they will always be saved. The problem is, Jacob, I don't know if you believe it or not, really, but if you did, you're saved, but you're missing out on living a life and that will be joyful, give you peace and joy, and the opportunity to serve the one who created everything. And as we serve the Lord, then Jesus says we are building up treasures in heaven. So you're going to be failing to do that and to do what you're got saved for. Ephesians 2:10 says that even though we got saved by grace through faith, not by works, it says we should want to do good works to serve the Lord now that we're saved. So you're missing out on that. But I hope it's true that you really did believe, and that now that you're You no longer believe. There's just such a thing as saved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what that means. I no longer believe. Does that mean you think that lordship salvation is true, or what? I mean, I don't know what you believe, but if that's the case, I got to know. Well, what else besides Jesus is going to help save you? Is it Jesus plus you doing what? Not sinning, and how much not sinning? And it has to be 100%, because that's perfection. And what about the intents and thoughts of your heart? Because that is what Jesus said. If you even want to, because your flesh is corrupt, you can't keep it. You can't fulfill his commandments. You can't, because you're in fallen flesh and it's sinful. Jesus came in the form of sinful flesh, yet without sin. So it didn't work against him. But ours is corrupted. So you can't fulfill that. So what are the other standards? I'm just curious. You know what I mean?
Let me see. I think I saw some names here that we didn't say hi to Music Bible yet. The Music Bible's here.
I'm going to go live in a little bit, because I'm just going to go on for a few minutes and just let people ask me a few things, because I seem to help people when I have an open mic and I'm live, and they can just say, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me? So I said I would. I've had to take a second job to try to support some of the stuff on that I've got to set up on this.
Let's answer this real quick, Renee. When there's someone named Orrin, Kinct. I guess that's Connecticut. Are these two pastors? Went to seminary school, ordained? Well, no, that's not how we church was. What we're doing is we're doing first century church model. We're trying to conduct our church the way it was done in the beginning. Right now, if it was possible, I would invite everybody here to come into my home, and we'd all come together, maybe 10 or 20 or 30 of us, and we'd have a meeting. And there's no pastor. There's nobody that's the boss. It's going to just be the one teacher.
I was a movie producer for 20 years who got disabled and studied scripture in depth while I was in a sick bed, and I started to be able to walk a little bit again, and I started preaching the good news online. So that's where I am. And Brother Luke's done the same, right? You had another career, but this is what you do is your passion. And I work still to support this passion. I love it.
I got saved in 1986, and I've been studying the Bible ever since, and teaching it for many years in my home and online. I did get ordained, by the way, but I haven't gone to seminary.
Yeah, I never got mine through. I didn't need to, because I didn't agree with their seminary.
But I probably know more than many seminary graduates, because I've studied all the different perspectives on everything instead of just being indoctrinated through one particular denomination.
Right. I'm familiar with a lot, but not an expert on any particular. Like, there's people way better than me on eschatology, way better than me in specific things. Mine is just a general knowledge about the overall. I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not an expert on any except salvation. Soteriology is definitely my thing.
If you're interested in more about the first century church, contrasting it to the modern church meetings, if you want to know more about that, you can go to, let me share this again real quick, and then I'll be done here. Right now, you're going to be looking at the Church of the Eternally Secure YouTube channel. Let's just scroll down and look at a little bit about, let me see. I think I've got it on this playlist here. No, I don't. So you're going to have to go to the Brother Luke channel. Under featured channels, go to Brother Luke. And then let's scroll down until we see the playlist called Church, How Should We Do It? Here it is. Church, How Should We Do It? If you go to this playlist, you're going to find that the home church model is the way that the church was in the beginning. It wasn't church buildings with hundreds and thousands, tens of thousands of people together. It was small groups, 10, 20, 30 people coming together in someone's home. And then when it got real big, And when they couldn't handle everybody, someone else would open up their home. That's the way the church was. And how was church conducted? It was a group discussion. It wasn't someone standing on a pulpit and indoctrinating everybody with their teachings. It was a group discussion, studying the scriptures together. So that's what we're trying to do. And as I said, if it was possible, I'd invite you in my home to do it. But I did that for 7 years, a home church at my house. But now I'm doing the same kind of a thing, but on the internet. So, or in Connecticut. That, by the way, my late wife, she was from Groton, New London, Mystic, Connecticut. She grew up there. She still has a lot of family back there. Yeah. All right, Renee. Let's say good night to everybody, and then you can do your stream.
Sure. All righty.
What is this? Leaf says, can Renee make incomes off
YouTube
to help the ministry?
Can I do what, honey?
Can you make an income from your YouTube views?
Yeah, I can. I could. But I try. I give away anything that has to do with the gospel. I'll do that for free. I never want anything. If people can support the ministry, it helps a lot with the administrative costs and stuff, because I am having to do a side hustle at night and I'm going to get worn out. I am. But what I'm trying to do is set up the merch. I've got 2 designs. I just need to finish it and put it in my store. And that way, maybe people can just get some merch or something to help me out every month. And then I'll be able to handle, that and be able to use it to do the projects that we want to do. Because I have some amazing stuff going on, but the finances are crippling me. They're crippling me personally. So I'm having to take it all on, and that's why I'm taking this time leave to get things organized. And I'll need some help. And Celine, I'm going to give her the Facebook page to run for me, so y'all can fellowship there, and maybe y'all can come up with some kind of link where you can fellowship live somewhere, like on a Discord with that group. But I don't have time to do that. But I'm going to have a thing set up for Grace in Your Face, so y'all can fellowship, and I'll have Celine probably take over as manager of the social media department for that for now, until I get some more help in. Okay. And then you'll be able to support me that way. So let's just get it up and running, because I have some great stuff. But Brother Luke, I'm shooting a lot of film. I'm writing, I'm editing. This stuff takes weeks to do things. It's not like I can crank out a video every day. So what I'm trying to do here is not neglect the important things. And so I've written down the simpler videos. Once I finish getting everything set up, I can just sit down and do one real quick, because the computing is amazing. I can do it very fast, but I'm so excited about it. I want to get fancy with it, and I want to do my stuff that's going to blow your mind. So it's taking longer, but I'm going to still go ahead and it's going to take longer for the big one to come out, but I'm going to still put some stuff out, especially on 1 John. I'm going to go line by line and stuff. So I'll get everything together, and I'll still be around on that channel. And everybody will see me around. I'd like to be at the point where I've got it all running smoothly, and it's just like a machine, that's so I could spend more time with people, helping people, traveling the country, seeing you guys in person, because I have a big life in my head. And so that's what I want to do.
Yeah. We got the Raving Evangelist is actually Justin Powers' new channel. So great to see you there, Justin.
Wonderful.
I want to take just a minute here as we finish up to point out a couple of things here. We had quite a few people here tonight that were I didn't recognize you. So let me just tell you, this is the Church of the Eternally Secure. And here's our schedule: Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you go to the description box of any of the videos, I hope you'll read this description box. That'll tell you what we're trying to accomplish and how we're going about doing it. Okay, so please read everything in the description box, And if it's something that appeals to you, then come and join us Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, Renee, let's say goodnight to everybody. What's your closing thoughts?
I was reading the thing here with Raving Evangelist because I love that. I really love it. That's wonderful. I wish I knew where some of you guys were, because I am filming stuff like high quality, like sitcom stuff, and I wish you were closer to me to work on. Motorbomb, you're not too far. Is anybody near East Coast, like near beach area? Because I know you're close, so maybe you can be on one of the shoots. Be involved. Hey, new people, because there is me sick of seeing my face and everything all the time. But yeah, I've got some really great stuff. But I want to get this set up so it's easy to move the camera where I want it. So I'm not sitting here in all my videos. Like I can have my green screen up and stuff, and I'm finishing. See, I'm putting this. Wish you could see it. I think it'll look better. So yeah, we got some really cool stuff. There we go. See, I had some lights set up, and let me put him in. There. Yeah, I have to finish. I had them temporary up to see if it would work. It's supposed to be like a double. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Yeah. They're just temporarily there to see if it was going to work. But it's pretty, isn't it? Sorry, it fell on my head. I had to get up. You go ahead. I'm done. I just didn't want it to fall on my head, y'all. There.
Okay. All right, Renee, tell everybody good night. And then if you're going to do a live stream, mention that and we'll finish.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I'll go live for just a little bit. I want to catch up with y'all and then schedule like an official one, so I can be on and answer stuff. So I'll come on for a few minutes. This is new for me on here. I have issues with getting in and stuff, so bear with me. It'll probably be 20 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm so happy to see y'all.
Everybody, if you like the program, give it a thumbs up, please.
Oh, yes, please.
And this is Sunday, this is Wednesday, so I'll be back on Friday night. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time for Fellowship Friday night. Come and join us for that. We have a lot of fun on Friday nights, okay? Bless you all in the name of our great Savior, God, Jesus.